We are catching up with an Emmy and Tony-winning actor who has been at it for decades. David Hyde Pierce played Dr. Niles Crane on the classic sitcom Frasier.
And he's currently starring as Julia Child's loving husband, Paul, in the HBO Max original series, Julia.
But another role near and dear to David's heart is advocate. Advocate for the more than 6 million Americans who are living with Alzheimer's and the more than 11 million family and friends providing care and support. June is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, so it's the perfect time for David Hyde Pierce to join us. Good to have you back. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So 6 million now. It's a number that is projected to reach some 13 million by 2050.
That's right.
And it's close to your heart because, like myself, you have family members that you've lost to this dreadful disease.
Yeah, we had my grandfather was the first experience my family had with Alzheimer's, and then my dad about 10 years later. So, yeah, we've seen it up close and personal, and we don't like it.
No.
Yeah. It's so hard to watch, and I feel like there are so many misconceptions that people have when they see somebody dealing with Alzheimer's. What are some of those misconceptions?
Well, it's funny you say that. I work a lot with the Alzheimer's Association. Alzheimer's and Caring Kind are the two organizations that I work most with, and the association just did a survey of people with Alzheimer's about, what do they want to tell people? And the big issue was the misconceptions. Like, one of the things they say is, I'm not my disease, which I think is so fantastic in this time where everyone is a victim and trying to blame someone. You hear the people with dementia and Alzheimer's standing up heroically and saying, I'm more than this illness, it's a thing. So that's one of the misconceptions. The other is that it only affects older people. Because as any of us know who've had it in our family, even if it's an older person who has it, it touches deeply the lives of everyone involved. And then there are, in fact, people in their 40s and 30s who actually get forms of dementia. So it's a complicated and widespread disease.
You know, one of the things, my grandmother, she died from it in 95, and one of the hardest things was you watch someone that you've known and loved for so long, and they're slipping away physically, and they don't know who you are. And there's just, and you can sort of start to see the lights go out over this period of time.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older, I worry about, like, am I going to be a victim of all? Is that something that you worry about as well? Is that?
I don't worry about it because, there's so many terrible things that can happen to us in life. And life keeps reminding us of that every day, it seems. So, but I think we owe it to ourselves and to our families to educate ourselves about it. Because we're either going to have it, or we're going to have a loved one who has it, or we're going to encounter someone at work or on the street who has it, and we owe them the respect and the care to be caring and kind, of being knowledgeable and understanding.
Is there anything you can say there's no question there are people who are watching this morning who are caregivers during the pandemic. As you know, it was particularly tough for a lot of families. Any thread of hope or message of hope? I mean, sometimes it gets tough. You're home, you're isolated with your loved one, and you're just in the thick of it,
Yeah, that's a really good point. And the isolation of COVID just doubled down on that for people with dementia and their families. But there is, when I look at my family's experience, when my grandfather was exhibiting behavior we didn't understand in the 80s, we didn't know what it was. And my grandmother kept it very quiet. We didn't know until he was wandering and getting lost how serious this was. 10 years later, partially because of my experience with the Alzheimer's Association and just greater awareness, when my dad started to get dementia, we knew what it was, and we came together as a family. They weren't as isolated. And that, to me, is the biggest hope. That's why I feel like we have to all educate ourselves about this. Stigma, isolation, those are not only unpleasant, they actually accentuate the worst parts of the disease. And people can flourish, people can thrive. People with dementia and their families, if they're well taken care of by people who understand.
And don't have to hide it anymore.
That's right. That's
such a passionate advocate. We didn't get a chance to talk about any of your acting.
No, thank God.
When you come back, we'll talk about...
Yes, people have to watch the shows, and then we won't have to talk about them at all.
You want to talk about Frasier before you go? You want to talk about a reboot?
No, a Frasier reboot, no.
You're good. That's why he's an actor.
David Hyde Pierce, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So important.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.